Hey guys, it's me Kate again. So this will be the 52 Book Club's 2022 Reading Challenge TBR. So in this, I'll be talking about the books that I'm planning to read for the 52 Book Club's 2022 Reading Challenge. So yeah, at the moment I don't have prompts for all the books, but the ones that I don't have books for, I'll be taking off as I go. So the first prompt is a second person narrative. For that I'll be reading Half Bad, which is about a boy called Nathan who is in a cage and he is a witch. And he's half light witch, half dark witch, which means that he is a possible danger. And before his 17th birthday, he needs to escape because as he's leaning more on his father's side of the dark magic, he will probably die if he doesn't get 3 gifts and blood of his relative. And part of the book is written in the second person. So prompt number 2 is featuring a library or a bookstore. I'll take that off as I go. Then title starting with the letter E, again I'll take it off as I go. Then is the title starting with the letter F. Now for that I'll be reading Felix Ever After. Yeah, Felix Ever After by Kenson Calendar. In this one we're following a teenage boy named Felix Love, who is black, queer and transgender, and in school he starts to be bullied because of the fact he's trans, and also he ends up in this quasi love triangle situation with involving his best friend and his best friend's ex. The next prompt is chapters that have titles, and I'm reading Half Wild, which is sequel to Half Bad. Then for next 3 I currently don't have anything, and that's a non-fiction bestseller, Household Object on the cover, and a book involving the art world. Then the prompt is to read a book that sparks joy, and I'll be rereading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which actually I always laugh at. Well, being it the book or the movie, I read the book only once, but I watched the movie countless times. How many actually? Around 7 times? So that's a lot. Then is to read a book based on the real person. For that I'll be rereading Splintered, which is Alice in the Wonderland retelling when our main character Alisa is fictional descendant of the woman who inspired Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in the Wonderland. Then is to read a book that has less than 2022 Goodreads ratings. I'll be rereading Witch Blood, which is first book in Kitsune Chronicles, in which we are following Sebastian, who is a Kitsune, which is Japanese 9-tailed fork spirit. And a year ago something happened and he ran away from home. And now he bumped into Liam, who is an alpha werewolf, actually who saved him a year ago. Then is to read book set on at least 2 continents. I'll be rereading Girl Online by Zoe Sacks, where we are following Penny, who after really unfortunate situation in school goes from England to New York with her parents, because her parents are wedding planners and they're planning a wedding in New York. So we have Europe and the North America. Then is to read the book that features a club. What the heck? No. I'm pretty sure that this one doesn't include the club, but I think one of the later ones does. I'll check if this book that I've written down has the club in it. I'm not sure. Then is to read a book with a character with superhuman abilities. I'm planning to read Flash Fire by T.J. Klune. In this one we're following Nick Bell, who is obsessed with extraordinaries, which are people with powers in this world, and of course they are superheroes. So of course I have superhuman abilities. Then is to read a 5-syllable title. I'll need to check on that because it's different in Croatian and English, so I'll need to check on that. Then for a book you've seen someone really reading in public, I don't know what I'll read. Oh, for a 5-syllable title we have Girl Online on Tour. It is for 5 syllables, so that's equal to Girl Online. And then I only have a book for that I've seen somebody reading in public. Then for prompt 17, to read a book picked based on its spine, I'll be rereading The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gore, where we're following a 16-year-old Asian American, 17-year-old Asian, 16 or 17-year-old Asian American girl who, after doing something stupid at school, needs to work at her father's food truck. And then is to read the Jane Austen inspired book. I'll need to research some of those. Then is to read a book that has an alternate title. Need to check that. Then it's related to the word gold. I don't have any of those. And then is to read a book published by Simon and Schuster, and for that I'll be reading What If It's Us by Becky Albertelli and Adam Silvera. It is published by Simon and Schuster. I'm not sure if you can see it. So in this one we're following 2 boys, Arthur and Ben, who met at New York post office and then go on a series of disastrous dates. Then is to read a book with an unlikely detective. Oh, yeah, I wrote down the wrong title, but okay. Then is to read a book with X, Y, and Z of an author, but with X, Y, or Z in their name. And this book was for this prompt because the author is J. Christoph and J ends with the Y. And it's lifelike. So in this one we're following a girl and who, while going to the junkyard, finds a lifelike which is essentially a cyborg. And then is to read a book that addresses a specific problem. For that one I don't have anything written down. And then is to read the book with a wealthy character, I'll reread Witchbond, which is sequel to Witchblood. Then is to read the book that has an author's note. I'm going to reread Love Boat Taipei, which is about teenager named Alan Wong whose parents sent her away to this summer educational program in Taiwan, which ends up being a summer-long party. Then is to read the book that includes a map. I'll be rereading The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which is first book in the Stormlight Archive, and we are following the war between the Aleti and the Parshendi, which started when Parshendi killed Aleti king, but now they are only fighting to control shard plates and shard plates, which are these magical swords and shields, which grant Israel powers. Then is to read award-winning book from your country, and I'm going to be rereading Neri Paulina by Sanja Polak. It won Croatian Book Award, so I'm not sure if you ever heard of Mato Lovrak Award, but it's Croatian award for children's literature. So the next prompt is to read a book over 500 pages long. For that I'll be rereading Words of Radiance, which is sequel to Way of Kings and the second book in the Stormlight Archive. So the next prompt is audiobook that is narrated by the author. Need to find one. Then it's to read a technology themed book. Don't have one of those. And then it's to read a book that intimidates you. And that's War Storm by Victoria Aveyard. Not just because it's thicker than all the previous ones in this series, but also because I have a really local relationship with this series, so we'll be seeing how this goes. This is fourth book in the Red Queen series, when we are following Mara, who one day she is a red, and in this world the reds do not have powers and silvers do. And one day while she is working, she discovers she has powers, which leads her into this political plotline. The next prompt is to read a book with a bilingual character. I'll be rereading Druginek Paulina because in Croatia it is required to read to study another language in school. So the next prompt is an author to read a book with author photo on the back. Need to find one. Then is to read the book from the villain's perspective. I'll be rereading Vicious, where you found Victor who wants to kill Eli. They were in college best friends and roommates until Eli framed Victor and sent him to prison, and now 10 years later Victor wants to kill Eli, and all the characters are morally grey. Then is to read a book recommended by favorite author. I need to see what my favorite authors are recommending. Then read the book that's set in a rural area. I'm not sure what is considered rural area in like US and England, but need to find one. Then don't judge a book by its cover. I put down Charlotte's Web by E.B. White because I have this really ugly edition of it. Then is to read a middle grade novel. I'm going to be rereading A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison, in which one we're following three sisters, Charlie, Betty and Phyllis, whose family is cursed so none of the women can actually leave the island they live on. But it doesn't go well with the middle sister, who just wants to go on to an adventure, and then we're following them as they're trying to break the curse. Then is to read a book with a photographs inside. I'm going to be reading All the Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson, which is his memoir about being black and queer, and there's photos from his life inside. Then is to read a book that involves second chance. I'm going to be reading Secret of Ella and Micha, where we are by Jessica Sorensen, I think, where we are following Ella and Micha, who used to be best friends and in love until actually Ella left for college without telling anybody, and now she is back for summer break and stuff goes from there. And then is to read an indie book. I'll be reading Witchbane, which is third book in Kitsune Chronicles and sequel to both Witchblade and Witchbone by Lisa Casey. Then is to read an anthology. Then is to read a book by an author who is published in more than one genre. I'll be rereading Story by Shadows by Lisa Casey. She is published in both paranormal and contemporary romance, and in Stalked by Shadows we are following an army vet who is in need of who is looking for a job, and his twin brother just happens to know a guy who needs a bodyguard and basically tells him, "Here, take my brother." And they even have a ghost cat at one point. It's ridiculous. And then is to read an anthology. I don't know what I'm going to read for this. Then is to read a book with the illustrated people on the cover. I will be rereading Nevermore, the Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend, in which we are following Morrigan Crow, who is destined to die on her 11th birthday until this man called Jupiter North comes and takes her away to a magical land of Nevermore, where she is invited to join the Wanderer Society. Then is to read a book with a job title, and the title don't have any of them. Then is to read during the month of November. Pretty self-explanatory. Then is to redo one of this year's poems with a different genre. And for that I'll be reading Gorgana's Secret. I'm not sure what I was thinking when I wrote down but Gorgana's Secret by Alan Hawkes is about a girl named Gorgana who is living dressed as a boy and on her father's ship. And one day the new lieutenant saves her from being bullied. She starts to question if she should tell him or not that she is actually a girl. Then is to read a book with the title that starts with the same letter as your first name. I'll need to find a book whose title starts with the K. Then is to read a book with a person of color as a main character, and I'm going to be rereading Shine by Jessica Young, which is about the young 17-year-old Rachel Kim, who is a K-pop trainee, and if her label doesn't debut her now, they never will. And when an opportunity presents itself for her to sing duet with her label's Golden Boy, she jumps on the chance. Then is to read a book with the word game in the title, need to find one. And the last is to read a book published in 2022. Of course, I need to get a book that's published in 2022. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you liked it, like, share and subscribe. Down below you have my social media, my email and some other stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.